Hola de nuevo. I'm like gonna flex my mad Spanish skills. Hi again. Like I did that video yesterday, and a bunch of people told me that they really liked it, so I'm gonna make another video. Obviously, well, this time I'm more gonna focus on the eyes because that's kind of what I do well. Not just what I do well. I mean, I can do my lips well too, but that I mean, it's not something I really like to do that much, just because like I think I said yesterday, like the way my face all like blends into each other, like all my features, like it really is like a blank canvas. So I really like to highlight my eyes. It gives me definition, makes me look like a tarted up millionaire's daughter, which hey, I'm okay with this. But I already did, my foundation and everything. Because you saw it all yesterday. I'm gonna be using True Blood. It's by Tarte. It's Tarte for True Blood. It's the whole palette. It is a collector's palette, which they're always coming out with collector's palettes. I don't know that I've seen that many from Tarte. I don't know if I've ever seen any from Tarte, but obviously there could be one that I'm just not aware of. But this one came out earlier this year. This is what the front looks like, which I think I already showed. And then this is really cute. It says "Open After Dark," and you pull it out, and there is, this one's a primer right here, and then this is a mascara, and I don't really like the mascara that much. And then I like the eyeliner, but only for certain uses. I don't like it as like a very versatile eyeliner, because I don't feel like it is. And this is what inside looks. And again, I don't really, this is like, I think this was $54 $52, I think it was, at Sephora. I don't really like it necessarily, like the way it opens, because it's like you kind of gotta stick your finger on it, and then there's a magnet and stuff. But it beats the Anniversary palette from Urban Decay, which I did not find the packaging very user friendly. But this is what it looks like. It's got a lot of dark, more like dark smoky colors over here, and then your light colors. I mean, it's really a basic palette in pretty packaging, but it looks good. So my foundation's already done. So I'm gonna start with bronzer. I always wear bronzer, which, some people might have complaints about it looking fake. You're too fair for that. That's their problem. I really don't care. Those porno lights, they are strong. You need to look good. There are no porno lights. Definitely not. But it's funny if you pretend there are. Again, like, just whatever. It's funny, some people would be saying that you look like a streetwalker. Hey, what's wrong with being a streetwalker? I mean, they make good money. I mean, they did something right that I didn't. I ate too much as a young child. I can never be a streetwalker. I continue to eat too much. I have a love for Pepsi, inhibiting my life as a streetwalker. And like, if you really are concerned about this not really matching, because it doesn't right now, you can always go like this, but I usually don't, because by the time I have everything on, it doesn't look as orange as it does right now. Like I said, if orange is what you want. You know what I really hate though? Like, when I lived in Florida, like the strippers, and it's not just the strippers that did this, but I've noticed it a lot at strip clubs. While I was in strip clubs, I was drunk a large portion of my time there. I don't really know I was not stripping, because like I said, I eat too much. But they would, like, you roll up there, the girls will be dancing, whatever, and then they come off the stage, and all they had was like bronzer all over the face, not just like my little Jesus piece right here. They didn't have it like that. It was just all over the face. The entire thing was just covered in bronzer to match. I mean, and the bronzer matched their fake tans that they had from tanning beds or spray tans, whatever, but they had no blush on, and they just kind of looked like creepy little dolls, like covered in bronzer. Like, I hate that look, like, and I still see it today on some girls. And like, if you're over the age of 12 and that's how you're wearing your makeup, get it together. Really get it together, because you need to, like, move beyond the bronzer as foundation and blush and whatever else you're gonna use it for. Highlighter, we use it for everything. Why not? So again, my blush I'm using today is Deep Throat, which I actually just bought because I thought the name was funny, but I really like it. It's a little bit more shimmery than Orgasm, which was the one I used yesterday. I don't think it's any darker. I think it's actually the same color, but I feel like sometimes it pops a little bit better, which is possibly the shimmer. And again, like, I just really go right up into my cheekbones. Because my cheekbones are alright to begin with, but I feel like that really enhances them. Little drama. Which is always good. I feel like, you know, drama's always good. Keeps things interesting. And so that's all, you know, I got all that done. So now I can really focus on my eyes, which is all that matters, because I have the most beautiful eyes, according to a 4-year-old from my job today. And 4-year-olds, they know it all, and they're the most honest things you ever meet in your life. So now if you can get the primer out, and this is another thing, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get stuff out, but you manage. So, and I just go around, like, there's no like big trick to this. I mean, if you want to pretend there is, that's fine with me. But you know, I left doing the primer because primer is really important, because otherwise, like, I didn't realize how good eyeshadow could look until I got some of the, it was actually Urban Decay's Primer Potion was the first one I had. And I didn't really realize, like, oh my god, if I use some Primer Potion, like, my eyeshadow will stay for more than a couple hours. You know, it made me able to be at the club for more than an hour or two. So then, yeah, I do my eyebrows. I feel my eyebrows just a little. It's not even like, you know, some people really be feeling them because they're sparse. Mine are not sparse, but they're very light, which I don't really like a ton. I really like, you know, especially because I darken myself up a little bit, just because I feel like it looks a little more healthy for me. I do want them to be a little bit darker so that I don't feel like it's another feature that's just fading into everything, because I don't really like that, obviously. So right now I'm going to use, and they will have colors, all the stuff in here has, the colors all have names, but I don't know them because I threw that piece of paper away, or the piece of plastic. I'm going to be using this one, which is like a silver, can't really see it real well. This is like a silver color, and then this is a red. And actually why I bought this is because I wanted a red eyeshadow. Red eyeshadow is really hard to find. Like, Makeup Forever has some matte reds, which I didn't really want a matte red. But this was the only red I could find all in Sephora. So I had put in all the other shit I was buying, and I was just like, yeah, we'll just buy the palette. It's cute, it's got other stuff. But then I think I'm also, and there's not like a really good light highlighter that matches, because I usually like to use something that's real neutral when I go with the silver. But I'll probably use the pink right up here. Yeah, I'm gonna use the pink, because I feel like that is probably the best match in this palette. And like, a lot of times I'll use 2 or 3 different palettes depending on where I'm going for a certain look, but right now we'll make it simple. So, and this is definitely gonna be like higher drama than we were working with yesterday. So, you know, it's gonna be a little brighter, a little darker. Because yesterday was really, it was from the Romantic Eye palette from Too Faced, and that was really, really, really like romantic. Like, it was supposed to be really girly and like, you know, subdued. And I don't really do subdued well. My personality is bright and loud and abrasive. Like, I'm like a lovable cactus, which I make work for me, but it don't work for everybody. But, you know, because, and it's not even because, you know, just my personality is so loud, and I am such like that, I don't mind having my eyes done real bright, and I also can get away with it, I feel like, because, you know, people expect a certain thing from you. If I'm real quiet and like don't talk, and I feel like I come in with like fucking like rainbow eyeshadow, people are kind of like, whoa, what's going on over there? It draws attention to you. Obviously, I want attention drawn to me because that's my personality, which has really nothing to do with makeup at all, but it has a whole lot to do with the attention whore in me, which the attention whore part of me is very, very enormous. It's yeah, it's so fighting to get out, and it wins most of the time. Again, I really just try to like, I mean, go over it like a couple times just to make sure I have everything covered real evenly. And just because sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, but you know, I put it on a couple of layers and it makes it more intense, more vibrant. Like, sometimes people will, you know, use wet eyeshadow. I don't like that because I feel like it's really hard to work with and it, you know, makes stuff crease easier and whatever. But I do a couple of layers just because I feel like that really gives me like the coverage that I want, and it makes it really pop. So then this is the red. I'll show you again. And this is the red, which is more of like a cranberry kind of red. It's not really like, we're not talking like, you know, blood red here, which is funny because it is the True Blood palette. And then this I'm really gonna use like I would if I was doing a real smoky eye, which is that a lot of eye looks are loosely based on the smoky eye, but this is not necessarily like a super true smoky eye because it is red. I guess that depends on what your definition of smoky is. I mean, I would call it one. But the smoky eye is a look that works, especially, I mean, I'm sure there are eye shapes that it doesn't work with as well. But I have like the typical kind of more almond shaped eye, so it is pretty simple. And the biggest problem people have when they're trying, I don't know if this is the biggest problem because I'm no expert, but the biggest problem I always had in trying, because it took me years to be able to do a smoky eye, was you don't realize how far out you have to bring the bottom color, or you know what, I bring bottom color out that far too because that gives me a guide, but you don't realize like how far you need to bring that out to really make a smoky eye that people are gonna like notice and it's not gonna look messy. I mean, I guess some people tell me that they be trying to like not have people notice their makeup, but shit, if I'm putting all this work into it, like, yeah, you better notice. I remember I was with this guy one time and I went out and I had like all kinds of makeup on, like I usually do, and he is like, the next morning, you know, we did whatever we did. Next morning, like, I'm going to leave, and he's like, I said, well, my makeup's a little mess, like, whatever. And he goes, I said, oh my god, I can't, are you gonna go out in public with me like this? Because my makeup is a hot mess. And he goes, what makeup? I'm like, you know, the makeup that's all over my face. And he goes, oh, you look the same to me as you did last night. And I was like insulted, like, I went to all that work and I should have just showed up all barefaced, which I never would have done. Again, this is like really, again, I'm doing a lot because that shows off that is the red, which is really what I want, because the red, this is another thing I like about this palette, is like you can put on a little bit and it's not like super super bright, but then I can put on way more, and yeah, it's like definitely, you can see that there's a lot of color there. So, and this is my favorite brush for that. It's like the angled one, for, you know, doing the crease and doing, you know, my shading, my blending. My highlight, I use a smaller brush, and this is all from the Sephora antibacterial, I think it's the antibacterial set. And then I'm gonna use the pink. It's the pink up top, and I'm just gonna highlight like this, which kind of, like, I think I said this yesterday in one of the other video, that it's gonna subdue it, like, and just kind of make it look like it blends a lot better. It makes it look more natural. Like, not that this looks natural at all, but just like the whole point. I do not want to be looking more natural. Not that, I mean, and that's why I feel people are like, well, there's nothing wrong with the way. No, there's not anything wrong with how I look, like, without makeup, but this is what I prefer. Like, this is how I see myself. And I feel like, you know, in the eternal debate about makeup, that's what it's really about. Isn't it about, like, to me, it's about putting the face that I see, that I want to see, that, you know, when I am looking in the mirror, this is what I see. And when I look in the mirror and that's not what I see, you know, it's about how I want the world to see me. You know, when you see the world sees you, and this is what I want them to see. And it has nothing to do with, I don't think I'm good enough on my own. I am good enough. Best believe I am, but, you know, it's more complicated than that, as always. So, this is like no eyeliner, which eyeliner is, like, to me, is real important. And I do use black, like, which I think I've said I always use black. I have like one brown, and I don't see a purpose. I think I have a purple in one of the Urban Decay sets, but I don't really use that either. And this one is just the Hip by L'Oreal, which is drugstore liner, which I usually don't use. But this is actually gives you a really bold, nice line, easy to blend, and it's not expensive. It's like 13. I don't think it's $13. I think it's like $11, $12, depending on where you go. So again, I line the top first, and like with this, I would do like a thicker line because most people aren't gonna show up at work like this. I would. That's the kind of bitch I am, so you know, whatever. But yeah, and like then, you know, be careful when you go in here because it's easy to like, put way too much there and have it looking like you a little, you know, you had your 5-year-old doing your makeup. And I don't have a 5-year-old. I don't want people thinking I'm having a 5-year-old do my makeup if I don't even have one. And then the same thing over here. I kind of have to do it a little bit differently. This way it's a lot easier on that side to just start over here and pull the whole line across. But over here, you know, you're going from the opposite direction, so it's a little bit harder, but you know, I'll make it work. Always do. And like, I'll have you know that this is the reason I'm late to work every day. New York State, we have 7 minutes either way. But if you're 7 minutes late, like to punch in, but if you're 7 minutes late, they can still like tell you at your review, like, this is a performance issue. You are not on time. What is the problem? That's why every year I have my review and I'm like, why are you late every day? Because I gotta do my makeup. Like, it is really important to me. Really, really important to me. And like I said, that, you know, if it's not important to you, that's cool, but to me it is. And I will use that as an excuse. Like, you know, why was you late? My makeup. And I get to a point where I'm like, are you really asking me this again? How many years have we been through this? Especially when I gotta work like a day job. I used to work evenings for like a real long time. Really, really, really long time. And yo, my ass could get to work at 3 o'clock. I'll be on time every day. I'll even be early. You're expecting me to be at work at 9 o'clock is even too much for me. Like, I cannot do that. I do 9 o'clock, like, within the 7 minutes, but when I was having to be at work at, like, 8:30, forget it. Like, I'll be, like, 20 minutes late every day. And be like, oh, you just show up whenever you feel like showing up. Yes, I do. You know, we're on my time. It's like, you're paying me, like, I'll show up when I feel like I'll show up. And I still have a job, so that's the sad part. Okay, so then this is the Tarte. It's like a retractable pencil eyeliner, and I really like it for the waterline. It goes on. I mean, it looks like you could have way too much real quickly with this, but like I said, I do a lot with the black, so it really does work for me. Just under here, and this for me, like, as long as I'm not doing, I mean, fucking horizontal exercises, it stays for a real long time. I think I stayed 12, 13 hours that one day, and I was just like, and a lot of them, you know, you'll have like a little bit of a line, you can tell that you had it on, but this was like, it looked like I had just put it on. I mean, it could be different for anybody, but, you know, works for me. And then this is actually my new favorite mascara. It's Benefits. They're real, and it's supposed to make you look like false eyelashes. I guess if you're real sparse eyelashes, it might not, but I'm sorry for you if that's your situation, because it's not mine, and I'm happy for that. And they say like you can go like this, you know, like that and through, so I do that a little bit, but I don't really find that it makes like that huge of a difference, just because I do have a lot of eyelashes to begin with, so it's not always worth all that extra energy. But then I go like this, which I would do that with any mascara. So And I always, when I go from eye to eye, I always do another coat just because I want it to be like as symmetrical. And I'm totally crazy about that shit. Like I want everything symmetrical. I want it all to like be, I don't know what it is, but I'm crazy about that. And I don't use an eyelash curler. I don't really use a brush. Which this side is clumping up a little bit. So maybe that's like one of those moments where you're like, well, maybe I should rethink that policy. But no, I'm not going to be rethinking it anytime soon because I am full of laziness. You know, you need to look good and be at work, sort of, not, you know, more late than required. So, I mean, yeah. You can see, like, definitely see the red, which is what I like, you know, like I said, I was trying to find red eyeshadow so hard because I can wear a lot of colors and I didn't have any red. Which then I found a red like 3 days after I bought this. Of course, you spend the money and you spend the time trying to find some shit, and you finally find something. You're like, oh my god, I look so hard for all this. And then you get home and you're like, oh shit, I already had one. And then you feel like a total fucking idiot. Una pendeja. And this is just, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't really do a lot with my lips just because this is Revlon's. I think this is one of the newer lines of. It's the Color Burst and Sunset Peach because I usually keep my lip real neutral. And it's not, you know, the best lip gloss, but it's not the worst. It just gives me some shine, which is mostly what I'm looking for. So yeah, like at this point, you're good to go. Put your like club clothes on or whatever you're gonna do. I wouldn't advise going to church like this or to a job interview, especially if you're going to a job interview at a church. They might think you are a porn star. They might be right. They might be wrong. But probably right. So, porn star eyes. Until next time. Hasta luego. My god, I look so cute. Just like take another look. Until next time. Hasta la vista, bitches.